Hi, I'm Savannah Sellers from NBC News, but you are watching Lancer TV.
Good morning, Lancers! And say happy birthday to JC.
My birthday!
And Will! Anyways, now it's time for Lancer TV. I'm Emma Marie.
And I'm JC.
Today is March 1st, a blue day. Here's the latest from the studio.
Seniors, your class panoramic photo will be taken March 9th during advisory on the football field. Be sure to wear white for this photo.
There will be a mandatory meeting for all spring sports athletes with Mr. James on Wednesday right after school at 3:05 p.m. in the auditorium. Again, meeting for all spring sports athletes on Wednesday at 3:05 p.m. in the auditorium. Please be prompt.
Lancers, we have one more week to donate much needed food and personal care items that will help people in need in our local neighborhoods. Please do what you can do to make this effort a success by placing your donations in the boxes in the front of the school. For more information, scan the QR codes on the donation boxes or the code on posted flyers.
On February 16, Lewis hosted a town hall on mental health. Afterwards, we got some reactions from several students. Here's a clip.
The best thing I liked is it's not about the emotion, it's about like that feeling that you have every single day. So the examples they gave and the tips they gave were really helpful. Yeah.
Do you think that these tips will help you in college?
They will definitely will help in college, as college tends to be stressful and get to the point where we all have different levels of how to cooperate with that. And it's certainly going to help with how we're going to feel with that mental wellness.
So even though we're in high school right now and we're talking about mental health, they do focus more on mental health right now in high school, but I think the tips we'll learn right now, like we'll build that foundation and take it up to college, so it really help us later on, yeah.
Do you think that this will affect you with the rest of your high school career?
Yeah, so I already do see a therapist, which I think is really important, and I think that this will help encourage other students to get the help that they need, whether it's seeing a therapist or talking to their counselor. I just feel like that all of this is really important, and it definitely will stick with me throughout the rest of my high school career.
Do you think this mental health panel helps you in any certain way?
I think it helps a lot of students.
And do you think that you can benefit other students from this?
Yes. It's how you're not defined by your grades.
How do you think this mental health panel has affected you?
It affected me in a positive way where it brought a kind of light to an issue that's kind of very much present in high schoolers and everybody in my peers too. So it's really nice, yeah.
It made me feel seen. A lot of mental health is an issue that not many people feel comfortable talking about, and the activeness to destigmatize it and make it something that's more normalized and accessible is a really great thing. And yeah, I think it was a really great thing that we just had.
And how do you think this panel has affected you?
I really liked it because I learned about many different things about how to cope with mental health and how to help others who also struggle with mental health. And I really liked how they talked about how they want to help schools incorporate more ways to help with mental health and talk about and raise awareness about mental health.
Remember back in the beginning of the year when we hosted Andrew Aiden, co-author of John R. Lewis's Memoir March? The video of that event has just been posted on our YouTube. To celebrate, here are some clips.
How did you work with John Lewis? What did the day-to-day look like when you started working with John Lewis?
Well, it started, I started in his office answering his mail. So I really started at the bottom. And you write those letters and you bring them to him to sign, and I'd sit there while he'd sign them. And I guess he liked the way I was able to write in his voice. I think that's something that when you're growing up and you're on scholarship, you don't have the same luxuries. You learn to code switch, right? You're always trying to fit into whatever room you're in so that they don't kick you out of it, basically, right? Yeah. And I think in some ways that was the same sort of ability I brought to that task, right? Again, all right, I'm going to learn this voice now, and I learned his voice and started writing his letters. So then he asked me to be his press secretary on his first re-election campaign in, 10, 15 years. And so I went down to Atlanta, and then we on that campaign, we kind of became like two peas in a pod. Like I would drive them around, we would go to the events, I would write the speeches or the ads or whatever. And to me, it was also this education, because even though I'd grown up in Atlanta, there were so many stories about what SNCC had done, what the young people had done in the movement that nobody had told me before. And so sitting there, you go to these events, he goes to a school, he talks to kids, or he goes to, the Rotary Club or the Chamber of Commerce or whatever, and he's telling these stories. I guess the story I'd always heard was more of the story of gods and kings, right? It was LBJ versus Martin Luther King. It was Malcolm versus Martin. It was those sort of stories. And I'd never heard the stories about the sit-in movement and how it spread. I'd never heard the story about the original 13 Freedom Riders and how they led to, they carried on the Freedom Rides and really were the ones who made it successful. And then the connection between integrating the buses through the Freedom Rides and how that made the March on Washington possible.
If you want to watch the rest of the interview, it's on our YouTube channel alongside the rest of our amazing content. On that note, that's all we have for you today. I'm Emma Marie.
And I'm JC. If you missed the morning news or want to watch it again for a quick refresh, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search Lewis Lancer Media to find our channel and subscribe.
I forgot to say, that's Will. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Lancer Media TV. You can find all of our links at lancermedia.org.
This has been Lancer Media TV, signing off. See you next week.
Have a great day, Lancers!
Bye!